everybody. I'm Tom Vessel.
I'm Wendy Yee.
I'm Joey Evans.
And today we're taking a look at a game called Stamp Swap, a game that's being released by Stonemaier Games, and it is for philatelists. That's what it says here in the back.
That's the word for it?
Is that how you pronounce it?
I don't know.
Flautists.
What do you think of that?
Philatists. I don't know.
Anyway.
Ember used to work for the post office, so
It's stamp collectors. That's what everyone calls them.
Oh, okay. All right.
I was a stamp collector as a child. I collected stamps from around the world. I would get them from people on letters and then soak them in water that would come off. You let it dry in a paper towel.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Did they have like a finish on them that made it so that they wouldn't dissolve like paper?
I don't know what it is about stamps, but they don't.
They don't.
Like you can let them in and it just comes off the paper. You put them in water and then you let the stamp dry and it's fine. It's a different kind of paper, whatever it is.
Yeah, because it doesn't just fall apart.
Yeah, and I think, there's probably something for that for letters and...
They waxed?
No,
Makes you
I
wonder.
think it's wax. Well, it has to be because there's going to be rain. Things will get wet and you don't want the stamps to be ruined.
Yeah, but the letter then could get ruined.
Yeah, but no, post office don't care about that.
They don't care about your letter.
They just care about the stamp.
Stamps. We want our stamps back.
That's what costs money.
Anyway, so this is a game about stamp collecting. When I read it, it's from Paul Solomon. The game is like, hey, it is both drafting and I split, you choose. And that is a correct statement.
Yes.
Let me show you how it plays. In this game, each player is going to have their own stamp collection. Cool back of the board, by the way. And in this stamp collection, you're going to be placing stamps of various shapes and sizes, although you always have to place them the correct way. And each of these stamps, as you place them, will be different colors, and the different colors have a little symbol around the outside to help differentiate between them. They're worth certain points at the end of the game. They're of different types. This one here, for example, is a monument, and here we have a vehicle. And so you're going to be putting these in here. You also have forever stamps that you're going to be collecting to score point. In this game, you're going to be playing through 3 days. At the beginning of the game, you're going to pick some cards, or randomly select these cards, from a whole pile of different scoring cards of different categories: color, theme, size, cancel, some stamps are canceled, and then a finale, something to score at the end of the game. There's going to be 3 sections each day: a collect, a swap, and a show. During the collect phase, you'll be turning over 1 card per player, and each of these cards has a special ability or something that will change the game, but only the last one matters. The other ones are showing you which stamps are going to be available this round and whether they're face up or face down. So you're going to put all these stamps out here, and players are going to be taking turns drafting these stamps in turn order. So you have a daily collection. You're going to put 6 things here. But there's not just stamps available. You'll notice that there's cards here. So 4 cards are going to come out. Some of these cards will give players special abilities that they have, and they're also worth points at the end of the game. And some allow you to score more points. Some stamps, by the way, are worth negative points at the end of the game, so you need to keep an eye on that. But you still might want them for something else. So again, in turn order, players will start drafting the different things that are out here until everyone has 6. One of the things can be drafted is this, which at the end of the game is worth 2 points, but also is going to let you go first in the next round. Once everyone has drafted these, you're allowed to reserve one thing, although these gold foil, rare stamps, those you cannot reserve. But there's one thing you keep. So whenever you draft a face down stamp, you can look at it and I might be like, which of these do I want to keep? I think I want to keep this. Man, it's a tough one because this is a space stamp, but I think I want this stamp, so I'll keep it here. The rest of your stuff that you have, what you're going to do is you're going to split it into 2 groups. So maybe I'll put these 2, I'll put these 2 together and these 3 together. Then, in turn order, each player is going to pick a group from someone else. So let's say Susan goes first. Susan says, I want these 2 stamps. If she takes these 2, these 3 come to me. If she takes these 3, these 2 come to me. And then it's my turn to pick somebody else. If you somehow don't get picked, you're going to keep both your groups. Once you've gotten your stamps, plus your reserve, then you can start putting them here in the middle. So this is the show. And the show matters because you're going to be scoring here. Each person's going to score for their card on here. So this one, for example, gives me 1 per space stamp, although there's one per vehicle, one per monument, etc. But if I get any other cards, like I might have this card, I might also get one for every brown stamp, and I'll score those points. Players will also, during the show phase, they're going to pick one of these to score. You can only score one for each phase, so you won't score all four, you only score 3, but you pick which one and when you score it. So this one gives me 3 for every rectangle. This one gives me 9 for every set I have of all 5 themes. This gives me 3, I pick a color, and I score 3 for each stamp. So I'm going to do this 3 times. More stamps each time. Then there's the final showing. In the final showing, you'll score this one. This one gives me points for empty regions. We'll also score the little forever stamps that people have been taking. Whoever has the most of those will get 10, then 6, then 3. Then your stamp values, anything on them, so for the points on them, especially the ones that are these gold foil ones, will score you a lot of points then. Then the specialist cards, 2 points for each specialist card, whether you use its ability or not. And then the finale contest card, and whoever has the most points is the winner of the game. One thing I want to say about the game is well, first of all, it says 20 to 60 minutes on here. I think 20 minutes is it also says 1 to 5 players. 20 minutes got to be the 1 player. Because there ain't no way you're playing a 4-player game of this in 20 minutes.
No, there's no way.
But I said at the beginning that this is an I split you choose and a drafting, and that's what it is. Because that's the game. If you don't like either of those mechanisms, you are not playing this game.
Also, I didn't really like them together either, because I do like both those mechanisms. But I felt like I was taking time trying to analyze the drafting and get the tiles that I wanted. And then I'm like, well, I have a handful of tiles that I want, and now I have to split them? Or do I draft so that I get half the tiles that Joey wants and half the tiles I want, so it's easier to split, but then Joey doesn't pick mine anyways? Like, it just feels like this weird mind game.
I feel like, yes.
With the drafting.
You answered your own question.
No, I didn't like the mind game of the drafting, because it was like this weird pre-level of strategy and work that then almost meant nothing, because I split you choosing.
Well, I like that because I like the idea of one for me, one for someone else. I didn't think about a person in particular. I just was like, I want this. Now I need to take something else that someone else will want, or I take 2 piles that I want equally as much, and then I don't care.
Okay, but there's also the element, which I like, I love and hate that part, because you're splitting and you're also hoping you don't draw enough attention from other people that they're going to want to choose one of yours. Because you also have the face down ones too, that you have to balance everything. I don't know. It's interesting. It's also very nerve-wracking. It's like, okay, I don't want to make them... I guess as the draft, you want to kind of get things that are only beneficial to you. And I think on this one, you really have to pay attention to everyone else at the table.
But it also lets you keep one stamp. I do like that
I like
rule
the reserve.
A lot. You get one reserve. You can't reserve one of those gold ones. But
Right, but each individual stamp is not worth that much.
No, but it could be for purposes of the scoring at the bottom, those bottom cards. Like, I might be like, well, this is a rectangle, and it's yellow, and it's space. So those are the things. That's 3 points for me, or 6 points. That's stamp, and there's a 2 on it. You know, that's a total of 8 points. That's a lot. The grid itself is kind of weird, because I feel like that is a very much afterthought compared to the rest of the game. Like, I never sat there and thought, I can't fit stuff in the grid.
Yeah, there's way more space than you need.
No, the grid is weird, especially if you put the little ones. I forgot what they call the little forever little things. It's just to give you spacers and to fill up those. Yeah, I wasn't crazy, but I love polyomino, but this was that's the least influential mechanic in it.
Other than it looks cool.
Yeah.
I really like how it looks a lot, especially as a stamp collector. It's amazing.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it also has to do with objectives. Like, some of the
there are objectives on how you play it. In fact, a lot of objectives are that way.
Right.
The
groupings and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's a few things I don't love about the game. I don't love the special ability. So what I mean is there's 4
the cards that are part of the draft.
No, not those, and I don't love that either. That was another thing. I feel like there's almost too much stuff to look at in drafting. Like, if there's the card that gives you +1 for every blue stamp, that's easy.
Right.
Ooh, I want that. Then there's one at once per turn you can do this. Those cards clearly get worse on round 3, so they're just 2 points, which is still 2 points. It's not nothing. But anyway, that's one thing. No, I'm talking about when you put out the 4 cards and then you draft. I would almost rather it just be one card and says draw, because you draft almost the same number of stamps every turn. The only difference those cards are is which stamps are up and down.
Yes.
And how many forever. And then there's a special thing, and sometimes the special thing is like just another rule to the game. Like on this round, we're drafting 7 things. I'm like, oh, okay. Or this round, everyone passes one to the left. Oh, okay. I could have did without those. I thought the game was fine without them.
And I feel like that to me is what sums up multiple parts of this game. Is I just wish they would rather. I wish they would rather have just picked either I Split You Choose or draft. I wish they would have rather made setup easier. I wish they would have rather. Just giving you better play. Like, there's just so many things I'm just like, I wish they would just have picked one. Like, just do one thing or made it simpler. It just feels like they made stuff more complicated than it needed to be.
I know you say that, but you like games with a lot of mechanisms in.
I like them when there's exploration in those mechanisms. Like you said, flipping over those 4 cards to lay out, depending on which ones are face up and face down at the beginning of each round. That doesn't add anything to the game.
Sure, I agree on that.
Yeah.
What I don't agree on is the mix of I Split You Choose and drafting. I think they do work together because it makes you draft a different way. Normally, drafting is taking what I want. Here, I'm taking things to set up my I Split You Choose, and I think that's an interesting feature. I mean, it's something different.
I would draft things that I know someone else wants, not for hate drafting, for them wanting to choose the packet I want them to choose.
And it's really important if you do that. So let's say I set this up and I make a really juicy thing.
Right.
Not only is it something I pick it so that I don't care who wants it really, but let's say anyone wants it. They're like, take it. Good. Now it's my turn.
Right.
Now I get to pick next, and I really want that thing you put together.
Yes.
You don't agree?
I just didn't love that part. I didn't love that part.
I Split You Choose almost in any game in existence. I think it's so much fun.
I like I Split You Choose, but I would just rather the tiles be random and that you're just given the tiles that you're given and then you I Split You Choose.
But then there's going to be a chance that someone's going to get much better things than everyone else.
That happens anyway in this game.
I think I like it
because it's just random whether or not, like, are the animal tiles going to come out in the first half of the game? Are we going to see them, by the end?
On that I agree. I think I would have preferred no one start with a theme because your theme might not show up at the beginning. It doesn't matter. And that kind of gives you... But there's also not a lot of points. You're going to get 2 or 3 points off those. So does it really matter? And the values on stamps are important because you get so caught up in everything else. Mm-hmm. Like, in the last game I played of it, I almost won because I had so much value of stamps. Or I did one. I don't remember who won.
Those gold ones are extremely valuable.
And you have the negative ones that will fill a gap, but you are getting those negative points at the end.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
And then there's a bunch of stamps worth nothing.
But they're not worth nothing during the game, and they're part of groups and things like that.
And also the goals in the middle, when to activate. Like I remember I was going for a goal, but I realized everyone's going for that for their last goal. Go ahead and finish that now, and then do the second and third ones. So I think the goals can really get you a lot of points as well.
And I've seen it.
And when you activate,
and in every game of this I played, I was like, oh, that goal looks great. But people do them in different orders, and I like that. So
I do
too.
And I think they can be.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's slightly clunkier than I think it needs to be. Mm-hmm. And there's a few issues. The rule book didn't explain every special power. It should have, because I always wasn't sure. Or the scoring cards, they weren't always clearly explained. And if there's a spaceship, is that a vehicle or space? We assume it's space. I assumed it's space.
Right.
But I could see the vehicle person arguing for 5 minutes that it's a vehicle. Anyhow, what would you give it?
I'm going to give this a 5.5. It's one of those that I like all the mechanisms in it. Like if I look on the BGG page and I see like everything included, I'm like, I'm going to love this game. But the actual way that this worked out, I love spatial games. I love them so much. And yet in this spatial game, you're just dealing with rectangles and squares that you can't even turn around. You don't get a lot of manipulation from the cool spatial manipulation area. The drafting and the I Split You Choose, I don't really enjoy the way they go hand in hand for you. They just get in each other's way and create more complicatedness for me. And so, like, I love the objectives, but I also feel like the objectives aren't worth as many points, or they're harder to make work worth a lot of points when you could just get a bunch of gold stamps, and that seems like easier and more straightforward. I don't know. It's one of those things that there's just a lot of those little mechanisms that together doesn't work for me. So that's why it's a 5.5.
Yeah, I'm going a little higher. I'm coming at a 6.5. Right below recommended because I do unlike I like the I split you choose. And I like this more than like New York Slice because I feel like I have more of a say in what I'm taking and I'm splitting. That way I kind of have more of a plan before I go into that splitting action. But saying that, everything else around it could be a bit more streamlined, in my opinion. That's my favorite part, the drafting and the I split you choose. But once you get down to the points salad and the scoring at the end, I don't know, it just seemed a bit clunky, but I do like those mechanics.
Well, I'm the highest. I give it a 7.5.
Okay.
Now, I will be frank. A lot of my there's a lot I like in the theme. I really like stamps. I really like how it looks. And I like the feel of collecting stamps. But I disagree about the golds. I think the gold stamps are great, but I could ignore them and go for those goals, and I think you can score a ton from those goals. I like the idea of the face down stamps. I like the combo of this. I would give it a higher score, but there is some things that need to be focused in it a bit. I like some rough edges. Like even the forever stamps. They could have taken those right out of the game. You know?
agree.
Yeah.
They're there for collecting and to fill in gaps, and that matters for a few things, but also they also don't look good.
No.
They're the one thing in the game I think that doesn't look good. They're these little 1 cent. Forever stamps are cool. Every stamp's a forever stamp anyway, nowadays. But I still have fun playing it. I think a lot of people will enjoy it, but I think you need to know what you're getting in for. I was worried after playing round 3. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this 4 rounds, and I don't. 3 rounds is perfect. It's a good length of the game. So this is definitely one I think a lot of people should try before they buy. I think if you're a stamp collector, you will enjoy it more than not. And it depends on how you like the combo, right? Because I don't even know if I can say if you like drafting or if you like I split you choose. I like the combo of them, but I can see how people wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that's Stamp Swap, Stamp Swamp, Stamp Swap. Say that
Stamp
5 times
Swamp.
fast.
Stamp Swamp.
Stamp Swamp.
It's a different game.
I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Wendy Yee.
I'm Joey Evans.
All right, the mail will get there on time.
Swap
Well,
stamps.
not today anyway. Hey everybody, thanks for watching another video from the Dice Tower. Hey, you want to learn more about us, communicate with us? We have a Facebook group, we have a Discord channel, lots of different ways to get involved with the Dice Tower. You can find that in our Linktree link below. So just click that, it will take you and you can communicate with us on Facebook, join our Facebook groups. There's lots of cool things that you can find and become part of the Dice Tower. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Vassell.